How's it going, guys? In today's video, I want to talk about the #1 challenge that most people have when considering about moving overseas to live as an expat, and that is money, money, money. Let's talk about that in this video. I've ran businesses in the Philippines for the last 5 years, and in this video, I want to look at options for expats that want to move here, but aren't sure how to figure out the money problem. And secondly, options for expats that are already living in the Philippines. They might have some retirement that's paying the bills, but they want to know how to make just a bit more. Disclaimer, I'm not an attorney or an immigration consultant. And if you move over here, I would highly recommend talking to both to make sure that you have what you need to be able to work legally in the Philippines. So there's a number of different options for you if you are an expat wanting to or already living in the Philippines for making extra money. The first one is what I did when I moved over here, and that is to start a business. I actually worked on this about a year before I actually made the move over here. I hired a manager and HR, project management to oversee a team over here and to really have an extension of my business in California. I came back and forth 3 times the first year when I started up my business here. And I gotta say, it took a bit of time just for all of the business formation legally, finding an office, staff, everything else that needed to happen. And you should know, whether you're here or not, those type of things take a bit of time over here. First business I started over here, as mentioned, was my company, Purple Cow. It's an extension of the digital marketing agency I've had in California since 2008. Here we're a business process outsourcing company, which is a popular type of business in the Philippines. We help other businesses with marketing and sales and dedicated employees. And it's one of the type of businesses that foreigners could own over here in what's called a one-person corporation or an OPC. This is a new legal structure that allows foreigners to own a business 100%. So it's a little bit like having a sole proprietorship with some of the legal benefits of a limited liability corp, something along those lines. Now, not every business could be opened under this type of legal structure. Some businesses foreigners can't own at all. Some they could own 40, 60, 80%. So you really got to find out the type of business that you want to own over here and see how much of a percentage you could own of it. But this is a great option for foreigners that are considering starting a business here. So I really started at what at the time I thought was the safest route of starting up my own business. I have 100% control over it because I own it 100%. So there's huge pros with starting your own business, especially if you own it 100%. You have full control over it. You can shape the company culture. You don't have to worry about trust issues or different things like that with partners or others here. However, I've learned living here over the years that there's enormous cons to this as well. If you move over here as an expat, you're going to see that there's a lot of cultural differences. Now, some of those might be annoying and some of those might be something that you really enjoy. However, there is also work culture here. Most expats that move over here to retire never see this side of the Philippines. And I have to say that I think my experience as an expat living here running a business is enormously different from expats that move over here just to retire because they're not dealing with work culture. This is really an area where there's an enormous gap in thinking, especially between Western work culture and Philippines work culture. Actually, Philippines work culture is just really unique. People here really put family first, and there's a lot of other things that just make it different from what you are used to. I found that I need to have a lot more accountability, and I need to be much more careful in hiring at the beginning to make sure that we find the right people. If I had hair, I probably would have lost it again in my early years doing business here in the Philippines. And so you need to be aware that if you start your own business over here, you just might lose yours too. However, there's enormous opportunities in the Philippines for doing business. I'm so glad that I'm over here. I love the team that we've worked so hard to put together in Cebu City and Davao City. and we're really in a healthy, great spot. However, there were a few years of pain. Be aware of that if you're thinking of coming over here and starting your own business. Now, a second option that you have here in the Philippines is to consider investing in or joining a team with a group of people that already have businesses over here. They've already lived here as expats, or they're locals that you can 100% trust. They already know the culture. They've already dealt with all the headaches of business formation and the legalities and everything else that's involved. And you just kind of insert yourself either as an investor, a silent partner, or someone that's adding value to the business with your own range of skills. For me, I've moved more to this. So the first business I mentioned, Purple Cow here, I own 100%, founded my own business, but I've since found that there's really a lot of advantages to doing startups and new businesses with trusted partners. So as an example, I have one new startup that I'm starting with a fellow California expat over here, and I'll be sharing more about that in the future. I have another startup that I'm working on with a local Filipina over here, and I think both are gonna be a great success. Both of those, we're looking for people to join our team. There's a lot of other opportunities that I come across over here as well, and if you're ever interested in different opportunities in the Philippines, feel free to reach out in the link below in the description. I'd love to talk to you more about these different opportunities that I see for doing business with partners or as an investor in the Philippines. Now, a third way that I see some people making extra money in the Philippines is they're working online. So they're working overseas. I've seen some people do that with even simple jobs where they're making $10 an hour and they don't need to make a lot of extra money. They just want to keep themselves busy, have a little bit of extra spending money while they're over here. And there's definitely lots of opportunities for that in the Philippines as well. Again, make sure with all of these options that you really look at the legalities of what you could do and don't do. Feel free to reach out to me and I'm happy to pass on referrals to you for attorneys, for immigration specialists like Heidi that's been in some of my videos before, and they could be a great help to helping you navigate that journey. I also help out part-time as a business consultant, especially for those thinking about starting a business in the Philippines or looking to invest over here. If there's any way that I could help out, feel free to send an email to me below. As always, guys, if you have any questions, comments, I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and take care.